Hello everybody, Craig Warrack here, and in today's video I have a review of a new action figure that I've got, and it's something that's a little outside of my usual action figure territory, but something that I was really interested in. This is the Samus Aran Figma figure, and some of you may know Samus as the heroine of the Metroid series of video games from Nintendo. This is actually the second Figma figure that I've bought. My first one was this guy, the thriller version of Michael Jackson. And if anyone's interested, I'll arrange for a review of him as well. But let's take a look at Samus and her packaging first of all. Packaging in general is very nice. Something that the Japanese can do very well is packaging. It's very clear, it's Figma. It's interesting that the series name is bigger than the figure name, but here we have Samus Aran, written in Romaji across the bottom and katakana. If there's any doubt about how to pronounce her name, Samus Aran, there we are, not Samus or anything. This is figure number 133 in their series, and it's actually from the game Metroid Other M, which if you're a Metroid fan you may not actually be a fan of because it was quite controversial in its portrayal of the main heroine here. I.e. it made her into a complete mess. But it's got great pictures of what I'm assuming are the figure on the side. With these Figma figures it's always hard to tell because they're such high quality. On the back of the box we've got some nice shots of Samus in action and some description of what she comes with. We've got the morph ball, the beam effect, missile parts, and these are all represented by interchangeable parts, and she's got various other parts with her. Uses the word parts a lot. Yep, she's got a cannon. Okay, that confused me for a while. She's got a thumbs up hand, and that's what it's telling us there. Okay, that looks great. And there's various health and safety things below. And it's for ages 15 and up. Bizarre. Due to small parts choking young teenagers, no doubt. Anyway, that's enough of the box. Let's crack her open and see what's inside. Okay, let's just slit the top bit open and see if we can get her open. While I'm doing this, I'll just explain a little. I got her from a Japanese store called Ami Ami, and they're online, so you can check them out. I'll put their link in the description. She cost me 4,820 yen, including shipping, by EMS, so that works out about £40 sterling. The actual figure cost was around half of that, and then once they put the customs charges and the post office handling fee, I paid another half of that. So all in all, she came at about £60 for me, just really much more than I expected, but that's the post office. So she comes in this tray, and let's see if I can actually get it open. There's some tape. Some on the other side. Let's take the tray lid off. And here we have Samus. She's got a plastic cover on. Something that I've noticed the Figma cover characters do come with is they come with this little, little sort of Ziploc bag sort of thing, which I think is really neat. It's a really, probably a costless expense they add in there, but just to keep all, the little extra bits in there. I just think that's a nice little addition. And we're going to get the most boring sort of accessories out of the way first of all. She also comes with a base. And then let's take a look at the figure itself. Here's the figure, and she is looking wonderful. Great paint. You can see that well, it's kind of difficult to see on camera, I expect, but lovely metallic sheen to everything. No slop on the paint, whether that is because the areas are cast from the plastic, the coloured plastic, or whether it's just tidy paintwork, I'm not sure. It's very, very nice, all the way down. Now as a whole, let's take a look at her scale. Here's Samus next to the standard for most Western action figures, which is a 6-inch scale. You can see she is just slightly shorter, so she's done in probably a 5-inch scale, but she's quite tall for her scale, I would imagine. And compared to NECA's action figures based on video games, you can see they don't even... Alucard here is towering over her off the top of the screen. Still, you see. Let's take a look at the articulation, and the Figma standard articulation is still very much unknown to me, so whether this figure holds any surprises, I'll not be able to tell you. She has a double ball jointed head, one at a ball joint at the top and a ball joint at the bottom, to give her that lots of range of movement. Obviously the sculpt, capturing, you know, that Samus Aran look that her spaceship has as well, will prevent too much range of motion upwards and downwards. But it's all there, as much as you would need. Going over to her arms, let's have a look. She has these large shoulder pads, which are, I imagine, the bane of anyone who's tried to customise her. And they are articulated to allow her arm to move within them. So that's great. So it looks like it's all done with ball joints here. And when I say ball joints, I mean true ball joints, not post and hinge joints that we get here, but these are true ball joints. It seems that, you know, they rotate that way along forward, but they actually, you know, can rotate like that. We've got a hinge on the elbow. Now it's a single joint, but because it's so clear, it gives almost the full range that a double jointed elbow would. We have removable hands, and these have post and hinge, so they rotate and go up and down. And she has her cannon here, that also has the joint, but further down there's no articulation beyond the part at the end, which I think has an attachment that we'll come to later. She's got this midriff articulation, which is a ball joint. Then she has her ball joints at her hips, which as I'm working them I can feel them coming loose. That's the sign of a ball joint when it goes pop, but they always pop back on. And she has single jointed knees. Again, the clearance is quite great, so they do have a huge range of motion. And actually there is a bit of a twist in there, so that's great. That's almost like what Hasbro have been trying to do with Marvel Legends. Well, they tried to do, and it sort of was an abomination. Probably works better on armoured characters. Again, there's the up and down movement there. And she's also got this mid-foot rotation, much like Sota had. However, the articulation is just in the top part, so the heel rotates along with it. So it's kind of an ankle rocker. And then she's got this toe articulation. So all in all, she's pretty amazingly articulated. So any ACBA guys out there should be all over her. And I believe, as standard with Figma figures, she comes with this stand, flight stand or just standing up stand, which plugs into the hole here, just in the small of her back. There we go, so that can keep her steady, or I suppose if she's jumping about blasting Metroids or whatever, it can help her out. Can it help her out, or is she just going to tip? There we go. That's a rubbish pose, but just to show you that the joint on the base is nice and tight, so it can support her. So let's take a look at the accessories that Samus comes with. First of all, we already have this simple plastic bag that, of course, you know I'm an absolute fan of. I think it's pure genius. And that's actually true. We have the morph ball. This seems to be solid plastic from what I can tell, fairly solid anyway, and the details are sculpted in and painted, so it's looking great. The same colour scheme as Samus herself, because if you played the game you know that Samus can roll up into this ball so she can fit through small holes in the terrain. It's a stupid idea, but it was a 1980s video game, what can you say. It also has a peg hole in it so that she can attach to the base, and then she can drop her bombs and whoop, 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 boost herself up higher. If you've not seen the game you think I'm mental, but there we are. Oh, lost the balance of your ball. What else does she come with? Well, luckily they've included this little description. She comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 hands. And Figma figures come really, again, a stroke of simple genius. They come with this little rack that you can store the hands of the figures on so you don't lose them. You've got little holes there, and you can just pop them on. So let's take a look at what hands she has. She has the replacement left hands. You have really open and not so open. And then she's got a fist and a thumb up, and these should be simple to change. Just pop off there and then drop it. Let me try that again. There we are. That was nothing to do with the figure, that was just me being a butterfingers. So there we have it. Again, all those hands have articulation the same. That's the peg and hinge. There we go. And you can pop the unused hand back on. So that's great. The open hand is probably so she can put it on her gun, and she can't actually reach her gun, so that's, well, can she? With a bit of work you can get her with her hand on her gun. So she's looking pretty good. Good articulation scheme when people can get into those kind of poses. Fantastic. What else do we have according to the instructions? Ooh, we have the arm cannon interchangeable parts. Okay, so you remove, this is really complicated, you take off this part and you put this part on. Right. So there we are, this is the part they're talking about. I believe this is for when Samus fires a missile from her arm cannon. Oh dear. So rather than just a simple hole, it's actually got a specific way that it's to go in. I take it that's so it doesn't spin round or something, I don't really know, but that's looking really good. Again, unless you knew that was removable you wouldn't be able to spot it. It's really great. Unfortunately you can't fit that onto the rack, so that goes in the bag. See, it's all genius, it's all genius. And then finally we have her two beam effects. Here we have them. So they can fit onto either the closed cannon hole or the open one. And the beam effect here, there's a single shot, and it's cast in this translucent plastic, which works really well. When it's narrow, it's very pink, and when it's wider, like at the shot itself, it's very translucent and clear. So it's a nice variation in the colour. There we go. The burst effect for it actually coming out is nicely done as well, and that's the same on both of them. The double shot and the single shot, and it just slots in there. So yeah, she's looking pretty amazing, don't you think? And so that's Samus. I'm very, very, very impressed with this figure. I was expecting to be impressed, actually. When I first saw her on, I can't remember, I think it must have been Jean Saotome that posted a link on Facebook to her. I immediately pre-ordered her. Just really excited to get a nice articulated Samus figure. And really, they've amazingly captured her and given her these accessories, and she just looks astounding. The paintwork and everything is just spot on. She's shitting the ground for some reason. Anyway, there we have Samus Aran. I hope you enjoy her, and I hope you can manage to pick her up. Please comment, rate and subscribe, let me know what you think of Samus, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.